and it's, I guess, it's a big place for a fair start because you're spending 8 hours a week with your coworkers, and how often, how much time do you really get to spend with your spouse? So I would say most of the time it's not a problem. However, from a company policy, like if I was an HR manager, if I was writing HR policy, there would be no relationship between a manager and a subordinate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Hey, Vaughn, how are you?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
I'm glad it worked on my
Hey, I don't know if you were able to hear anything that I just said.
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Oh, you were? Okay, awesome. So anyway, I was just saying, basically, most of the time I don't think dating is a problem. Sometimes it is. I think from an HR perspective, all you can do is make sure that you don't have managers dating subordinates. Um, and I don't know what more you can do really.
Yeah.
I had for personal perspective, one of my old bosses, he said one of the biggest problems he ever had in his company was he had a sales rep that was sleeping with her boss.
Oh, wow.
Oh, dang.
Which was one of his managers or whatever. And then, of course, when they had problems with her and were going to fire her, she said, "Oh, she accused the manager of sexual harassment and created a lot of problems for the company. They ended up going through a lawsuit and so forth." And so, anyway, I would say that a manager cannot date a subordinate, and the punishment should be firing because you can't. Everybody else is going to say, "Oh, there's favoritism. You're setting yourself up for a sexual harassment or discrimination or some kind of a problem there." Anyway, Vaughn, why don't you go ahead and take off for another 5 or 10 minutes or whatever?
Sure. Yeah. So you had asked me to kind of review divorce when somebody, I guess, is going through a divorce, right?
Right.
Okay. Obviously, it's a sensitive subject. Anytime you bring in personal life to work, it's a very gray area. My experience, I've been with my only corporate experience is with Wells Fargo, and we have obviously we have a huge HR team, but we also have a team that's dedicated to an employee assistance counseling line. The EAC is what we call it, and this assistance line deals with anything that somebody's going through. And it basically is who we are expected to direct our team members to when we come across an issue like that. Now, having said that, we're still human, and our team members need to know that we have empathy for what they're going through, that we understand that it's a difficult time in their life. And so for me, how I've always handled it is I try to be a little more understanding of what that person is going through. I express my support for them, my confidence in their work, assuming that they are a good worker. But then from there, I kind of let them know that I can't give them, to your point, too much favoritism just because of what they're going through. Because I have other people on my team that just because they aren't sharing it with me doesn't mean that they're not going through difficult times. So I have to let that team member know, I'm going to still hold you to the same standard as everybody else, but I'm going to be a little more understanding should you have a slip up here or a slip up there. I'm not going to use this as an opportunity for me to just write you up at every single time that you make a mistake, but rather I'm going to put a little context to it. I'm going to understand that what you're going through is a little more difficult and not something that is easy and that is difficult to separate between work and home. But I'm going to encourage them to do as best as they can to avoid bringing personal life to work. For instance, I mean, just an experience, personal, because it just goes the personal experiences overall, my dad died, and a week and a half later, I was back at work, and it was like devastating. You know, it was like I was 22 years old. I was a month after I'd got married, and my dad was like our rock, you know, in our family, and it was a motorcycle accident. So I mean, you kind of have to, you if you're going to come in and get paid, you have to be able to work. And if you're going to be coming in, you have to be expected that you're going to be held to the same standard as if nothing was going on in your personal life. But we are human. And so we got to make sure that we are giving the support and the care that our team member needs, the confidence that they need, that I'm going to hold you to the standard, but I'm also going to understand that you're going through a little bit difficult times. So I can't just let you bomb everything. But should you make a mistake here and there, I'll understand why. And I'll know that you're going through a tough time. But I would encourage them to seek the counseling, seek the guidance that they need to help them to separate work from home and to help them work out their issues at home as well.
Have you, buddy, used the what did you call it?
The EAC, Employee Assistance Counseling? Yeah.
Right.
Often.
So is it just like they just refer you to a counselor and help pay the counseling bill?
No, actually, it's their Wells Fargo dedicated therapists, basically. Okay. And so they'll work through some of your issues, and should they say, yeah, you should go see a professional, a dedicated professional, then they will help guide them to the right person. And in some cases, Wells Fargo will even pay for it. But yeah, so they're basically just 24/7. You can call them at 2:00 in the morning. They're always there. And I've had team members who have talked about suicide, and I've encouraged them to go there. I've had team members who have been arrested for DUIs, and two actually now. Just this last week, another one was put in jail. She's in release time jail, and so because of a third DUI that she got, and so she's having to spend the night in prison or in the county jail, wakes up in the morning, gets ready for work, comes into work. And then as soon as she's done, she goes right back to jail, and she spends every night there. And so on a couple occasions, she's had a hard time with it because she's made bad choices. And those bad choices have put her in this position. And so I've encouraged her to call the employee assistance team, as she has. And she said she's felt better about it because she has been feeling worthless and whatnot. So yeah, there's been several occasions that I've done it, and all for different reasons, really.
I think it's just so crazy. I had a few close friends go through divorces in the last couple of years, and it's just so paralyzing. It's like all they can think about, all they can talk about.
Right.
And you can't just be like, hey, think about something else.
Right.
I don't know what. It's just hard to not think about, you know.
Yeah.
Think about how much we love our kids and our home or whatever else, and when you got all that about ready to be taken from you.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm pretty spoiled because I do work for such a large company that we have a lot of benefits that are available to us to say, hey, you need some personal time off. And I would encourage you to take the time that you need. This is something I've always been with my team members. You need to take the time you need to get your house straight before you can come into work, because I don't want to hold them accountable, because I know in most instances that work is going to be too much for them to handle at the time. So I'll encourage them to take some time off. And so we have the EAC does the kind of the same thing. They'll encourage the team members to take a personal leave, and they're allowed to take up to like 2 years consecutive of personal leave. And
not paid, obviously.
Well, some of it would be paid depending on the issues. So like if it was a health issue, we pay 6 months, 100% salary for team members if there's a health issue that keeps them away from work.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of benefits that we have that team members can take advantage of. And so I tell them, you need to start there first, because if you're just now finding out that you're going through a divorce, it's going to be a couple weeks before you're back to normal, if ever, you know? So So that's another avenue that I encourage my team members to go is get the help you need, because I'd rather you be taken care of first, and then come to work when you're ready.
Wow, that's great. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of anybody doing something like that.
Yeah.
Huh. That's sweet. Okay, Jordan.
Awesome. So I had the substance abuse. I really haven't had to face this personally, but I have seen it in our workplace where I work. We've had a guy who has a CDL, and when you have a CDL, it's pretty much a zero tolerance, no alcohol in your system at all. Especially for Royce City, it's a zero tolerance. And he came to work and got a drug test and blew 0.04. And he had been operating heavy equipment that day, which is kind of scary. And this guy has been known for his heavy alcohol drinking. So he was canned. He was let go right then and there. I think there's just different scenarios for each situation that you come by. For example, that one, I mean, yeah, zero tolerance, especially when you're driving those kinds of trucks. Zero tolerance. But kind of going along with what the employee assistant program thing. If I was an HR manager, I would make sure that I would probably have one of those set in stone. Just where if an employee came to me or I found out that an employee had some problems with drugs and alcohol, or even prescription drugs, that we could get them the help that they need. And we go from there. If the problem kept going, then we would take the appropriate actions that we would need to take. So. Yeah, I mean.
Okay. I don't know. It's all serious problems. My brother owns a tire store, and I don't know. He's probably been in business only like 3 years. I bet you he's had to fire 15 people for substance problems. It's crazy. I mean, so that's a sad deal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Vaughn, do you guys ever get drug tested?
Nope.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I mean, in a professional setting, it's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Hit the wrong key. It's not like anybody's going to get hurt.
Yeah. We just do fingerprint background checks and all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, unless I have proof that one of my team members is drinking on the job, even if I smell alcohol, I'm not allowed to do anything about it. And because here in Colorado, now that weed's legal, it makes everything that much harder too.
Wow.
Go out in the parking lot, smoke, come back into work, and I can't do anything.
Nice.
Yeah. And so hard working too.
Right.
Yeah, I've never met a dope smoker that was a real ambitious person, so good luck with that. They're pretty harmless, but hard working isn't one of their qualities. Oh. I gotta go clean up a mess, guys.
Okay.
Hey, good night. I think we got everything done. I'll try and get a doohickeys to you as soon as possible.
Okay.
Oh, hey, just real quick before we hang up, how long is the doohickeys again?
It's like 800 words.
Yeah,
Okay,
this one's a lot shorter.
A little bit shorter. Okay, 800 words.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay, good night, boys.
Bye.